What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another Emcstats report where we are recapping game one and game two of the WNBA finals between the Las Vegas Aces and the Phoenix Mercury. And right now, just to start off the segment, we're going to call them the Phoenix Mercury. But if you go back to the recaps from the previous series with the Minnesota Lynx, I deemed them to be the Cleveland Cavaliers of the NBA, the Minnesota Cavaliers, if you will, or the Cleveland Lynx, however you want to look at it. But make sure you stay tuned throughout this segment because we have a special name. We have a special name for the Phoenix Mercury, considering the way they have been playing. Game one, the Aces take it 86-89. Game two, they take a 2-0 lead, winning 91-78. And to start off with game one was simply spectacular. It proved me right, and my reason being to pick the Aces to win this series is simply because I still don't believe the Phoenix Mercury have enough firepower to match the firepower of the Las Vegas Aces. Now, when I made that statement, I was speaking of it from a standpoint of just like, hey, the Aces big three is far more superior than the Phoenix Mercury's big three. And right now, if you look at the numbers so far throughout two games, the Phoenix Mercury are ahead of the Las Vegas Aces in terms of the big three. The Mercury, their big three has 110 points through two games, and the Aces big three, Asia, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, they have only 109 points. So by 1 point, by neck and neck, you could say, but the Mercury have the edge. Saber Lee, Alyssa Thomas, Khalil Copper, they have the edge 110 to 109 in terms of the points between the big three between the first two games. So you asking yourself, right? For those who may have not caught the game or may have not seen game one, caught game two here and there, just only seen the highlights. The Phoenix Mercury big three is leading the Aces big three 110 to 109. So how is it, if that's the case, that the Aces are still leading this series 2-0? Well, game one, you can contribute and pay all the respects to the reason that the Aces are leading or they won game one is because of their bench. Jewel Lloyd, 18 points. Dana Evans gives you 21 points in game one coming off the bench. Dana Evans goes 5 of 6 from the three, while Jewel Lloyd's 18 points came at an efficient 8 of 16 shooting from the field. I'm on record. I called Jewel Lloyd washed. Now, either she's still washed and she turned back the heads of time specifically for game one, understanding the magnitude of this being a championship series now that you're in the WNBA finals. Either she just turned back the hands of time momentarily, or she's just been playing possum. One of the two. Nonetheless, that 16 points, again going 50% from the field, alongside Dana Evans' 21 points and 5 or 6 from three, was the ultimate game-changing factor that allowed the Aces to win game one. I also talked about, hey, when you're a road team, your bench is gonna need to, in some way, shape, or form, steal you a game when your starters just don't have it going, or maybe your starters gave you all they could give you, and the other team's starters, big three, marquee players, they're just canceling it out, and the denominator in all of this has to be who's going to rise to the occasion for the bench. And so yeah, man, the Aces bench, man, led by Dana Evans and Jewel Lloyd in game one, proved to be just a spectacular tandem. I could be wrong in some regard. I definitely want to say they had a record for or matched the record in terms of just most points by a duo off the bench in the WNBA finals, man. But Salute to Jewel Lloyd. Salute to Jewel Lloyd, man. She definitely did not look washed in any way in game one. And much respects to Dana Evans, 21 points to give the Aces that game one victory. In that game, you had 12 lead changes and 9 ties. And Asia gives you 21 and 10. Jackie Young, she struggles. She gives you only 10 points, 5 assists. And Chelsea Gray in that series, in that game for Chelsea Gray, she had 8 points and but she also gave you 10 assists. So when you talk about the big three and Jackie Young struggling, and then you talk about, hey, if Asia doesn't have it going, or Asia being the bulk of the offense for the Aces, you're going to always need Jackie Young to back you. She didn't have a great game, but no need to fear. Dana Evans, Jewel Lloyd, we are here. And so when you get a game like that and you asking yourself, it's just like, well, damn, Jackie Young struggled, and this was only a 3-point win for us being the Mercury. How is it that some way, somehow, we still found a way to lose this game? I'm saying series. Forgive me for keep saying series, even though I got the Aces winning this series, and I said that before the series started. But how did we find our way in losing this game, with it being so close, and Asia having a light 20, having a light 21 and 10? This is where the name change for the Phoenix Mercury begins, right? Kalia Copper, she comes out red hot fire in the first half, giving you 19 points. I'm gonna say that again. She gives you 19 points in the first half of game one. You think she about to have a day of all days anytime you start off a first half with 19 points, right? That wasn't the case in the second half. In the second half, Kalia Copper, after putting up 19 points in the first half, she only gives you 2 points. Let's let that breathe. She only gives you 2 points in the second half of a game that they lost by 3 after giving you 19 points in the first half. Furthermore, Alyssa Thomas, she gives you 15, 10, and 9. You could say that was arguably, I mean, that's a light game for Alyssa Thomas. 15, 10, and 9. What more can you want from AT, considering she's a playmaker at heart and she gives you 15 points? Sabely gives you 19 points. And she struggled. She was in foul trouble in that series. She gives you 19 points. And your bench for the Phoenix Mercury, they give you 16 points. Bonner, who I talked about being an X factor, she gives you 10 points and 8 rebounds off the bench. And outside of talking about Dana Evans and Jewel Lloyd and their impact, and your bench, your role players winning you a game in a series, I believe this is been a gruesome pattern by the Phoenix Mercury, by Kalia Copper. And we'll talk about game 2 here soon in terms of how they are incapable of putting together a full game that can allow them to win. They have proven to not have enough firepower, chemistry, camaraderie, whatever you want to call it. They have not been able to put together one complete game of 2 great halves. They have been incapable of doing that. And the reason I say that is Kalia Copper, she gives you 19 points in the first half and follows that up in the second half with only 2 points. Go back to game 2 of the Lynx versus the Lynx. Game 2, she gave you 17 points in the first half. You think again, she's about to be off to a fire start in the second half. She cooking. After giving you 17 in the first half versus the Lynx in in game 2, she only gives you 4 points in the second half, going 1 for 4 from the field. And so you got, and I think the Mercury outside of Alyssa Thomas for being a facilitator, I think they tend to ride the hot hand. It's like, oh, you got it going. Hey, we fist to rock out with you, Khalil. Oh, you got it going, Sable. We fist to rock out with you. Oh, At, you ain't really on the facilitating tip today. Like you got a mismatch or whatever the case is. You getting everybody. You getting to the rack and transition. We fist to rock out with you. But you keep leaning on. You can't. It's frustrating if you're a Mercury fan because we getting these fire starts from our go-to players from our big three. We getting these fire starts, but we're getting horrible finishes. We're getting horrible, horrible finishes. And even also in that game, right? Saberly in game one versus the Aces, she had 14 points. Excuse me. She had 4 points in the first half. Saberly had 4 points in the first half and 18 in the second half. And again, and that would show you had a slow start, but you finished strong with 18 points in the second half. Game two, game two, going back versus the Lynx. Saberly had 0 points in the first half, but she finished the game with 19 points in the second half of that game. So you got Kalia Copper having a great start and a bad finish, and you got Saberly having a slow start. I don't know how I'm gonna say that over here. I'm not sure if I said that right. You got Kalia Copper having a great start and a bad finish, and you got Saberly having a bad start and a great finish. Either way you slice it, both players have not been able to put together a full, great, complete game of playing good basketball or being able to score efficiently in both halves of the game. So, because of that, we're going to coin them the Phoenix Halfers. Not Mercury, the Phoenix Halfers. And simply because they're only good for one half at a time. They have not been able to give you two good halves of basketball. So yeah, that's simply what it is. The Phoenix Halfers. That is what we're going to call them now until they prove that they can put two full, complete halves together for the entirety of a game as a complete unit, and not just riding off one player having one good half and the next player having a better second half. Is not going to be conducive to winning. I said in the preview of this series, the Phoenix Mercury have very little room for error than the Aces. The Aces, can't afford to have an off game or two when you consider how great Asia is. And in Jackie, she was afforded a bad game in game one, and she gets backed up by Dana Evans and Jewel Lloyd, right? So if you're the Mercury, at this point, you're down 0-2. You have no more room for error. You need to find a way to be able to put two halves together to be able to find a way to win game three. You would like to believe that the Aces will let their foot off the gas going into game three, being in Phoenix with a 2-0 lead. But I think if you got a 2-0 lead, you got to be smelling blood at this point, and you want to pretty much etch the final nail in the coffin. If you can steal a game three, I could see the Aces taking their foot off the gas game four, sitting back like, yeah, we'll finish y'all off at the crib. We'll just, you know what I'm saying, we'll let y'all be for game four and go ahead and put an end to y'all misery for game five at our house. But yeah, they are the Phoenix. They are the Phoenix Halfers. They are the Phoenix Halfers, man. And again, like, and not even just putting, not even just talking about, the inability for Kalia Copper and for Saberly to put together a full half. In that game, you're down 86 to 87 with 24 seconds left, and that being Alyssa Thomas, and she misses two free throws. She misses a potential time free throw, and then furthermore, she misses a what could have been a go ahead free throw to be up by one, and just like wasted opportunities, man. Like just absolutely wasted opportunities by the Phoenix Mercury. Excuse me, not the Phoenix Mercury, the Phoenix Halfers. That completely wasted opportunity by the Phoenix Halfers. In that game, like early on, the Aces they were having the Halfers were having their way being able to score due to the Aces. Their man to man defense just wasn't like it wasn't really on par, and what allowed them to be able to get on track and disrupt the flow and the momentum and the success that the Halfers were having in the first half as they went to a zone. And shout out to Becky Hammond for just being able to make that adjustment by halftime in the second half, because that's not really what they hung their hat on during the regular season and playing a lot of zone. So, you just talk about coaching adjustments. To be honest with you, like, I don't know what more Nate Tibbetts can do in like a game one situation when y'all got the Aces right where you want them with the opportunity to like you can't. I don't think you can blame Nate Tibbetts. I think he's doing the best he could do. I think their best options, best opportunities and ways to score is in transition, in the fast break. But yeah, considering all of that, you could have still put yourself in a great situation had Alyssa Thomas made those free throws at the end to go up one, and she missed both of them, not even giving yourself a chance to tie. And like little to no more room for error if you are the Phoenix Halfers, formerly known as the Phoenix Mercury. Now, over to game two. Game two, Aces win 91-78, and like this is again where it comes into play, where the Phoenix is only good for one half. But furthermore, go back to my point, is the Aces have too much firepower that the Halfers, the Phoenix Halfers, will not be able to overcome. So, game two, Aces won 91-78. Asia Wilson gives you 28 and 14, and that 28 and 14 came by way of her scoring 20 points in the first half. That's a lot of damn firepower. That's a lot of yeesh, like how do we try to find the answer that nobody has had? How do we try to find the answer to stopping Asia that nobody has had? Like, how do we stop the MVP? Mind you, I just said she had a light, emphasis on light. She had a light 21 and 10 in game one. But then game two, she give you 20 in the first half. Y'all don't have, you do, I will say you do have firepower to match that because of the capabilities of Kalia Copper in that game. Kalia Copper, she gave you 15 in the first half. So you do have the capabilities to try to match a 20-point half. But that doesn't supplement or cancel out the rest of the team and what the rest of the team is producing for you if you're trying to find points if you are the Phoenix Halfers. So Asia gives you 20-point half, and the the Aces are only up by 9. Good spot. We gave up a 20-point half to one player, and we only down 9. Like, let's keep chugging along. We know if at some point Asia goes cold or we just try to tighten up on defense, we could still stick around long enough to like try to make a run. Okay, cool, bet. And in that first half, Alyssa Thomas, she had 8 points. Alyssa Thomas had 8 points in that first half. This is pretty great in terms of scoring for Alyssa Thomas, who's like a facilitator. Everybody would think that. The Phoenix Halfers strike again. After giving you 8 points in the first half, Alyssa Thomas goes on in the second half to give you a whopping total of 2 points, shooting 1 of 2 from the field, only taking 2 shots in the second half when you're down 1-0. Alyssa Thomas only took 2 shots. Only took 2 shots. And you know what that was very, 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 very reminiscent of? Game one versus Game one versus the Lynx, the last series. She started off that game going 8 of 14 from the field, giving you 16 points in the first half, where she proceeded to go on in the second half and only give you 2 points. So we time and time again we keep seeing these scenarios where one or two of the big three from the Phoenix Halfers, they're great for one half with their scoring. In the second half, they die off with their aggressiveness or just being inefficient. They don't have a strong bench. Monique at their point guard, Natasha Mack being in the starting lineup. We know these are not high usage players. I don't think you should be expecting them at any given moment when you need a hope and a prayer to pull 16, 15 to like 20 points out of thin air. So you gotta keep your foot on the gas. You gotta constantly be aggressive if you are the Phoenix Halfers, in terms of just like giving your team a chance and making sure like you're finding ways to score. But for some reason, the Aces have not been able to find the ability to put two great halves worth of a game together, and it's just gonna constantly shoot them in the foot. It's just gonna constantly shoot them in the foot, man. Yeah, it's going to constantly shoot them in the foot. Cannot stress that enough. And then again, Satu Sabley, she gives you 4 points in the first half, but she runs off to give you 18, going 6 of 11 from the field in the second half, finishing with 22 and 9. That's great, but you gotta every second, every possession when you have no room for error, if you are the Phoenix Havers, count. It's gonna have to be what it's gonna be. Alyssa needs a hot start. Kalia needs a hot start. And she had another hot start with giving you 15 in the first half, and then she went on to give you 8 in the second half. So she improved from game one to game two, trying to put together two good halves for the entirety of a game. And y'all like 80% of the offense, so it's imperative. Y'all don't have room for having bad games. Unfortunately, if you are the Phoenix Havers, y'all 80% of the points, rebounds, and assists for the entirety of y'all squad. So y'all have to ingratiate it in y'all brain, tattoo it on your heart. We need a hot start, and we need an even hotter finish. Or you just gonna have to hope for a night where Chelsea Gray and Asia both play historically horrible. Outside of that, you gotta find a way to put together two great halves. Until you do that, we will now deem and acknowledge you as the Phoenix Halfers. And that's really just the appetizer that's just the appetizer to game two. Game three really and truly was all you could ever be, all you could ever think of being about Jackie Young. Jackie Young, game high 32 points, and the most critical accumulation of that 32 was the 21 she scored in the third quarter. Yes, you heard me correctly. There was no glitch, no error, nothing wrong with your speaker. She dropped a 21 ball in the third quarter. Jackie Young, absolutely sensational. Bouncing back from a bad game one performance, not really shooting the ball that great. 8 of 11, 72% shooting from the field in that third quarter. Pretty much like go look in the dictionary of like can't miss, and like that's Jackie Young in the third quarter, which allowed for the Aces to just have their way, pull away, and at that point it was really much like, yo, Anybody give you a 21-point quarter and it's off to the races. So go back to when I said the Aces have too much firepower. Asia gives you a 20-point half. And Jackie Young follows up the third quarter, not the whole half, but just the third quarter. She follows up a 20-point half by Asia. She follows up the third quarter with a 21-point quarter. Come on, bro. If that ain't firepower, then what is it? Like, what are we talking about, bro? The Ace, that is why I picked them to win this series. They have entirely too much firepower, man. In that game, Jackie, like I said again, she finished with 32 points, 8 rebounds, leads the Aces to a 2-0 lead. And game three, I think the Aces have come too far. I think they too locked in to lay down for game three. I can see them laying down for game four to finish in five, but game three, I think, is gonna really, really be the ultimate test of can you put together two good halves. That being for the Phoenix Halfers, formerly known as the Phoenix Mercury. And in that game, you have, as far as the bench, like game one, DeWanna Bonner, she gives you 10 points, 8 boards off the bench, but in game two, she only gives you 4 points and no boards. Dana Evans and Jewel Lloyd, they come back down to earth. Jewel Lloyd gives you 9 points, Jewel Lloyd gives you 9 points. Dana Evans gives you 5. But it's cool that our bench came back down to reality, came back down off the moon, because we got Jackie Young, who's going to give us 32 with 21 in the first quarter. Asia, who gonna give us 20 in the first half. And then we got Chelsea Gray, being the vet that she is, giving you 10, 8, and 10. Too much firepower, dog. Like sometimes it can be intricate with the X's and O's. Sometimes it's just that simple. Too much firepower. I don't believe that the Aces just had like this groundbreaking defense that was just going to suffocate the Aces. And even if they did, I did not believe in the firepower or the lack thereof offensive assets, machinery that the Halfers don't have. And so yeah, man. Game two was just absolutely like great. And I know I've been guilty for not calling the Aces a great team. I think it's just been a matter of how great Asia has been. But man, when you take a look at game one and game two collectively, man, they are really looking like a great team right now, because you're able to see that the beauty in what the Aces have done in these first two games is we've been able to witness that their wins have not all been predicated off the back of Asia. When you look at what Jewel Lloyd and Dana Evans did in game one, and when you look at what Jackie Young did in game two, like, while Asia is great and phenomenal, yes, those two games were won by, for game one, your bench, and game two, Jackie Young. And obviously Chelsea Gray being who Chelsea Gray is. So salute to the Aces who are peaking at the right time. What better time to be peaking and maxing out on your full potential, your full roster, than in the WNBA Finals? And that is what we are witnessing. When you talk about the bench play, the bench has outscored the Aces bench has outscored the the Phoenix Halfers bench 57-24. And going back to talk about the big three, remember, right now in this series, through two games, the Phoenix Halfers, they have outscored the Aces big three 110-109. Alyssa Thomas, Saberly, Kalia Copper, 110. Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Asia, 109. However, what I want to be said is that in the second half of both of these series, Though the Aces have been outscored through the first two games, Big Three versus Big Three, in the second half, the Aces are outscoring Phoenix 51-45. And I think that's just even more of a testament of the Phoenix Halfers' inability to just find a way to keep their foot on the gas or maintain the momentum that they create for themselves in the first half and see through it that they maintain a high level of offense and production in the second half. So yeah, man, yeah, great. It's been a great. It's game one was great. It's been a great series, and sometimes great series is rooted in like, oh, it seemed like a back and forth match. But like I say, just to witness the Aces peaking at the right time is like great in all of itself, regardless of the shortcomings of the Phoenix Halfers. There are two plays that stood out to me in this in game two that I want to show y'all, and they are they are really really telling to how this series has been. And so in the first clip from game two was at the 8:24 mark. At the 8:24 mark, you got Jackie Young 101 with Natasha Mack. And the way Jackie Young was under the rim after a missed shot, she was under the rim and still fought her way back to get her own rebound. When I seen that, I said the Phoenix Halfers are done. They are 1,010% done. That play ended up with Jackie Young getting her own rebound, ended up in her getting a three to add on to that 21 that she had in the third quarter. But when Jackie Young went under the rim against a big and was able to fight her way back to get her own rebound, practically being out of bounds, I say, man, they done. Like, that's the type of stuff you can't teach. That's the type of stuff you show in the film room, and you're just like, yo, what are we doing? Like, why are we not out there fighting and scrapping to grab every single board that we can? So that play told me that the Mercury don't want it. Excuse me. That play told me the Phoenix Halfers don't want it bad enough. And I feel like that was in so many words, I feel like they was giving up, because I feel like that play was really telling about how bad do you want it. So that was one play. And then the next play that stood out to me was, for those who didn't hear, I was saying in the preview, in previewing this game, I was talking about how Alyssa Thomas has to stay aggressive with her scoring. I said, and quote, she cannot assist her way to a championship. She has to be aggressive in scoring. And in no way, shape, or form can she think she's going to have this grandiose assist-filled game that's going to lead to them winning the game. And right here, as you see, they run this play at the 8-minute mark. They run this play for, it's just a good set. They run this set that gets Alyssa Thomas an open look. We know Alyssa Thomas ain't scared of nobody. She the Debo of the league practically. We know she ain't scared to take a hit. You get this play ran. You get an open look at the rim. You got Nalissa Smith coming over. If anything, Nalissa gonna foul you, so you going to the free throw line, right? Maybe you shook from missing them last two free throws in game one. Don't know, but it's worth the ask. But again, you Debo, so we know you ain't scared. We know you ain't scared, AT. You got Kristen Bell on your shoulder. At the end of the day, that's a great look for you. That is a great look for you. Yeah, you got Natasha Mack crashing from the weak side, and you elect to, instead of taking that bunny, you elect to pass it. And you elect to pass up on that shot. And when Natasha Mack passes it, you all in your feelings with your reaction, like, damn, why she didn't shoot it, because she kicks it out to Kalia Copper. your body language is just like you pissed off because she passed up a shot, but be pissed off at yourself because you passed up the first shot. You passed up the easiest look and got mad that she passed off a shot. That's what I mean when I say you can't assist your way to a championship. Alyssa Thomas, score the damn ball. Score the damn ball. Take the easy buckets. I know it's in your DNA and everything in you says play, make, and create for my teammates, but shawty, you can't assist your way to a championship. Your team is great when you are also being aggressive as a scorer and not just trying to play make for everybody. That was your fault. Don't be mad at Natasha Mack. Be mad at yourself for passing up on the first initial shot. I had this series being over in 6. It's looking like 5. I think game 3 will be extremely competitive because I don't think the Aces come in the Phoenix Halfers arena and settle and lay down. I do think they chill out for game 4 if they go up 3-0. Remember, this is a best of 7. This is a best of 7 series for the first time in WNBA history. In WNBA history, WNBA Finals history, this is a best of 7. So going into game 3, the Phoenix Halfers are not facing elimination. Best of 7 series. So game 3 will be extremely competitive. If the Aces win game 3, I think they lose game 4. And they elect to finish off the Mercury game 5 back at home. But yeah, I'm going to tailor my prediction and still believe in the Aces are going to win. But tapering it off at game in 5 as opposed to 6. What we've seen in the first 2 games with the Phoenix Halfers' inability to be able to put together 2 great halves from their big 3 is going to be very grave and costly for them as it relates to their chances of being able to win this finals series. But my name is Edward, named after a great man, that being my pops. Shout out to my mom and my granny for helping raise me too. Please make sure you don't just follow the Emcstats channel. Make sure you also go follow and subscribe to the Respect the Game podcast channel as well. Stay tuned, hit the like button, hit the notification button. Please engage with me in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about this series thus far. How do y'all feel about the coin name Phoenix Halfers? Do y'all believe it's fitting? Should we call them something else? Do y'all think I'm just hating or being disrespectful? Let me know in the comment section. And yeah, stay tuned. Like I said, hit that notification button because I'm going to keep bringing y'all recaps after game 3 and so far throughout the rest of this final series. Going to keep giving y'all game recaps, and even after the WNBA season has concluded, bringing y'all collective bargaining agreement negotiations and all that good content, as well as women's hoops with college. So love you, beautiful people. Thank y'all for tuning in. I don't take it for granted, and I will see you on the next report.